ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः.
Dear friends, I'm sorry that you feel so embarrassed seeing my inabilities. I hope you will kindly pardon me. Yes, last time I was trying to refresh our memory regarding what we had studied before this break. I'm afraid I could not complete that repetition. A little is left over, and I would like you to bear with me if I continue the revision. The main theme is, please free yourself from all fixation of ideas, because in our country, everything sells in the name of spirituality, and thereby the true concept of spirituality, dharma, is absolutely lost under rubbles of all sorts of woolly-headed ideas. Purpose of this Sunday class is to let you know and understand what does true spirituality means, why is it required in our day-to-day life. That too we do not know. We say, oh, that is spiritual way of life. This is worldly way of life. We create so many ideas which means nothing to us, but it confuses us. Now, I will use certain Sanskrit words which are very precise. If you can memorize it, if you can remember it, it will be very easy for you to follow the discourse and the main theme behind it. I say I am. All of us individually say I am. The whole human society, trillions and trillions in number, each one says I am. But when I ask, who are you? Then each one answers related to this body-mind complex. Oh, you know who am I? Here is my passport. You want to know who am I? Here are my achievements, my biodata, my curricular meeting. And that's my identity. And the world moves on that. But it never tries to answer the question, who am I? The learning who teaches you, a learning that teaches you the answer to this question, who am I, is known as Adhi-Atma Vidya, Adhyatma Vidya. Atma Vidya, I ask myself, who am I? And I identify myself with what I am actually and truly not. Atasmin tat buddhi. That what I am not in reality, I have identified with that and I have forgotten my original identity. To re-establish my understanding, to re-establish my awareness of who am I, is an education by itself. As we are educated and proficient in various worldly subjects and sciences, this is also an important subject, answer to this very pertinent question, who am I, what am I? Adhi Atma Vidya, Adhyatma Vidya. This is the purpose of studying the scripture. Of all the scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita is supposed to have synthesized, harmonized, brought into a deep cohesion of all the ideas that emanate from each and every human being. And as we see in the world today, there are innumerable faiths, beliefs, sects, subsects, and so on and so forth. And as time passes by, Hinduism is smiled at, laughed at by saying, oh, we do not know which God is true. You say of Ram, you say of Hanuman, you say of Krishna, you say of Radhika, you say of this, you say of that. We are confused in the forest of deities. And I am told statistically, there are more than 2,000 subsects amongst the Christians today. Similarly, there are innumerable sects and subsects, Islams, non-Islams. They claim themselves Islam, but the Islam community do not accept them. The Qadianis and etc., etc., etc. Gita harmonizes all that. Through a proper education, through a proper way of developing an attitude which corrects all the mistakes that I hold dear to my heart as this is spiritual, this is not spiritual. The whole world is the spirit, the divine. And you are potentially divine. Purpose of this study is how we can educate ourselves to manifest that divinity which is already within us. That is why, dears, this is a subject which you cannot do without. If you want to live a life as the most evolved biological creature, don't forget, we are biological creatures. But we claim to be the most evolved of all biological creatures. Good enough? What are the signs and symptoms of being most evolved? To be very honest, we are slave to our habits, to our likes, to our dislikes, and to our inherent tendencies. I like this, I don't like that, I do this, I don't do that. We are slaves of that. Whereas people who have reached that goal, they proclaim to the housetops, from the rooftops, from the top of a mountain. Sridharananda Vishwe Amritasya Putra. Listen, listen to me, the whole world. I can tell you by my own experience, I am Amritasya Putra. I am the child of that eternal divine. And there is a method to reach that goal. That method is known as Adhyatma Vidya. Adhyatma Vidya. And if you allow me the freedom to say so, and I can bank upon it, that is, we can very bravely say it is a spiritual science. What is science? Whatever your intellect convinces you to be true, you put to test in a testing laboratory, and you satisfy that intellectual statement by experiencing it through all or any of your five sense organs. And you say, oh yes, 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 it is right. What is wrong with spiritual science? A person who has pursued this education and has reached the goal, he says, follow this methodology. Get rid of all your fixations of the past. Have an attitudinal correction. That's what education is all about. Correction of your attitude to put you in the proper right perspective. And you follow the instructions, you will reach the goal. And you will be satisfied yourself. How? You ask your teacher, who am I, sir? What is this I first person singular number English grammar? Your teacher says, Tattvam Asi. Thou art that. You are that eternal. Oh, is that so? I am Atma Brahma. Do you mean to say, sir, I am that? He says, Tattvamasi, thou art that. Follow these disciplines. Educate yourself. And one day you will come to this conclusion, I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. I am that absolute. Is it not a science? Does it not follow the so-called tertiary method of education? Taste of pudding lies in eating. But you must know the art of creating a pudding. And then you taste it and say whether it's excellent or not. So please learn the art of manifesting the divinity which is already within us. We have forgotten it and we are identifying ourselves with what we are not. Atasmin tat buddhi. That what I am not, tat buddhi I am identifying with it. This is one aspect. The other aspect is we find that we are sometimes frustrated, sad, defeated, annoyed, angry, dissatisfied. we are subject to all types of mood swings. How? Our interaction with the world and our expectation in return. And when that expectation is not according to my desire, we become victim of various types of mood swings. And we say we are happy. What type of happiness is it? I eat and I say, oh, it was wonderful, I'm happy. But something happens which I have never foreseen and not to my liking. Oh Lord, what has happened to me? I am down the drain. And we say we are happy. That is not the definition. What is the definition? Atyantik dukkhasya nivritti parama sukha prapti. I cannot do without these small quotations, dear, because the Sanskrit language is so precise, it will not allow you to go wrong. What is this concept of moksha, mukti, liberation? What is that concept? Somebody say, God has made man in his own image. The purpose of human life is to find his position with God as his image. A saintly, godly person. Somebody says we should be very blessed, thoroughly dedicated, devoted, servant of the divine. Khuda ka banda, servant of the divine. And somebody says, don't forget you are the divine, and try to manifest that divinity already within you, going through a particular type of education. What's wrong about it? So we find that our life is a stream between high tide and low tide. And we say we are happy. No. The definition of happiness is dukkhasya atyantik nivritti. What does it mean? It means I know what misery, sadness, agony is. I know what is to be heartbroken. I have gone through that experience. That I, going through this educative process, reaches such a level of awareness that the concept of misery totally disappears from me. You come and say, Swami, I'm very, very, very miserable. This Swami, who was a miserable soul, have now educated himself in such a manner, he cups his ears and says, what language are you speaking? Misery? I don't know what it means. The concept has disappeared from your mind. That is dukkhasya atyantik nivritti. The very concept has totally disappeared. This is a negative definition. Well, a piece of timber, a piece of marble, this carpet, they don't undergo this sort of, they are. So do you mean to say, I, a throbbing, vibrant, living, kicking human being, I convert myself into an inanimate object, that I don't feel any sadness? Far from it. The positive definition of moksha and mukti is parama sukha prapti. you lift yourself to that level of oneness of the universe, totally saturated with divine ecstatic joy. Parama Sukha Prapti, sublime, which cannot be compared with anything else. The Gita, in a very commonsensical manner, teaches you. And how does it teach you? He makes Arjuna our mouthpiece, our representative. A highly educated person, unbeatable in warfare, warcraft, unbeatable in statecraft, bravery, courage, intelligence, wisdom, all qualities that we can find in a human, the most evolved human, we find that in Arjuna. And that Arjuna faces a problem in life where he has no answer. All his education fails to give him that motivation to perform his duty of life. What is that? Kshatriya is a person who lives by faith, equity, justice, fair play. And you know the story, I won't repeat now. And he has no answer. All the answer that he says is, I can't face this situation. Let me run away from this to the hills and the dales and become a mendicant monk. As if to be a monk is a defeatist, is a defeatism. That is not monkhood. So Sri Krishna takes this as an example to start that education known as Adhyatma Vidya. Know thyself. How do you know yourself? The Gita starts. He allows Arjuna to unburden himself totally. And all in between, Sri Krishna tells him, are you sure, Arjuna, you're right? Are you sure, Arjuna, you are not mistaken? He doesn't do anything else. Raises this pertinent question. Is your conclusion rock solid? And ultimately Arjuna understands running away from a situation is not a solution. You have to face the brute. So ultimately, the very important shloka is Karpanna dosha upahata svabhava prichhamitam dharma sammudha cheta jad nishitam bruhitan me shishyasteham sadhi mang tang prapannam. He says, look Arjuna, look Krishna, I am aware, I am a well-educated, well-qualified, well-appointed person. I am aware of that. But now I am in such a situation, I cannot work it out. I can't put two and two together with all my faculties. And though I have my faculties, I do not know how to utilize, like a miser who sits on a heap of wealth, does not know how to utilize it. Karpanna dosha upahata svabhava. I feel like a miser. With all the possibilities and faculties in me, I am unable to find out an answer to this question. I am absolutely frustrated. I fall at your feet. I would like to take shelter at your feet, kindly help me out and see me through. Why this? Until and unless we are humble, until and unless our ego is under our control, we are not receptive. Until and I say, please help me out, without asking for help, if somebody helps you, you throw him out. I'm good enough for myself, your ego. So humility, modesty, and proper management of your ego is the first step required to be educated in a new branch of education. This is the importance of that shloka. And how does Krishna reply? Kutastva kashmalamidam vishamesham upastitam anaryajushtam Arjuna. Hey Arjun, I had seen you as a bright star in human society. Where has that Arjuna got lost? I don't find him. What has happened to you? What darkness has covered you up and you are weeping and wailing to find out a solution? This does not befit you, a human being. As a Kshatriya, a warrior by nature, it doesn't befit you. Arise, awake. Tasmat tat uttishta bharata. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. And then Krishna starts how to reach that goal. To cut it short, we know we humans are bound by a fixation of our mind known as our duty. Sri Krishna takes help of that concept of duty. Performing your duties in this world. What is my duty? I have taken a vow of sannyasa. I have taken 12 vows as a brahmachari and nearly 50 vows as a sannyasi. My duty is to live up to those vows. Broadly speaking, a sannyasi is bound down by a sense of duty to fulfill those vows. And a householder is bound down by a sense of duty to follow the duties of a householder. Duty is the highest common factor between me and you. Sri Krishna catches this point. Both of us have to perform our duty. He, through the Gita, teaches us how to perform our duties of life. And this becomes a means to that particular end, to go beyond the sense of duty and be one with the divine. It is a duty which is an obstacle in a very tricky manner. Tathi kaushalam yani bandhasvabhanyapi karmani sabhavat nivartati. This is from Acharya Shankara. What does he say? Yogaha karmashu kaushalam. This is what Krishna says in the Gita, I will teach you a procedure, a methodology by means of which this duty which binds you down to this world, this duty will lead you to your ultimate goal, moksha and mukti, atyantik dukkha nivritti, paramasukha prapti. It will lead you to that goal. That is the trick of the trade. Tathi kaushalam. That is kushalata. Kushalata, the nearest English word is dexterity. That is the dexterity of performing your duty. That you continue to do your duty, but you don't get enmeshed in it. That duty helps you to go out of it. Tathi kaushalam. That is the dexterity, jani, by means of which that particular attitude, by means of which bandha sabhavanyapi karmani, all that we do creates bondage. This dexterous way, yogic way of performing your duties, which not only removes your bandhana, but it leads you to your ultimate goal. Perform your duties. Yoga. So, karma is a cause of bondage. Karma yoga is a cause of mukti. How? You're talking tall. Speak to me in a commonsensical manner. And Acharya Shankara does this to us. How? Acharya Shankara says, Ishwararpana buddhya kriyamane karmani. If you convert your concept of work into concept of worship, you're always aware of presence of the divine, and your work changes over into a worship. Ishwararpana buddhya kriyamane karmani satta suddhija jnana praptir yogyata bhavati. You clean your heart by constantly remembering the divine. That cleans your heart and it becomes transparent and you see the flush of the divine within yourself. That is karma yoga for you. At the same time, how can I perform karma yoga without that intellectual conviction? So knowledge is the first motivator. Let us compare with our day-to-day life. You know this type of procedure of working will fulfill your ambition of life. All of us know that. The conviction is in the rational mind. Your rationality gives you that conviction. If I do this, this is what I'm going to reach. That is my goal. I will do it this way. First comes your intellectual conviction. Then comes self-disciplining. I do it the way as it is being prescribed. And by self-disciplining and performing those type of disciplines and education, you reach that goal. That is, work is converted into worship. Now, let me clarify it further, though it may be repetitive, but these ideas should be repetitive throughout our lifetime to reach that goal. What is work, dear? Let us analyze. I am physically involved. I am talking to you. It's my work, duty. I am physically involved by talking. I am emotionally involved, that God's grace you understand. That's my emotional involvement. I pour my heart out to you so that you understand. Emotional involvement. Behind it, the concept of karma yoga. That egoistically I am working and I am expecting a return. If you say, Swamiji, it's wonderful, I hit the ceiling. And if you say, oh Swami, it went above my head, I dropped down in drain. I am a victim of your opinion. That is karma for me. What is karma yoga? What is worship? Let us analyze. You are here. Intellectually, you are convinced the shrine confined within four walls is a very holy place, and we believe that this symbol symbolizes the presence of the divine in this place. So what do? You come with folded hands, physical activity. Emotionally, you speak to that symbol. Sir, I am in trouble. Help me out. Emotional involvement. Rational involvement, though it is a picture, though it is a symbol, rationally I am convinced it is the presence of the divine there. Awareness of the presence of the divine converts karma yoga, karma bhoga into karma yoga. Constant awareness of presence of the divine. Now, coming back to the world, we know the realized souls say, avatars say, the scriptures say that the whole universe is a manifestation of the divine. The whole universe is a manifestation of the divine. There's not a speck of time where divine is not. Not an iota of space where divine is not. Divine is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. Then, why don't I educate myself? This world is a shrine. Because God is everywhere. And whatever I have to do by call of duty, whatever I have to do, I do it as a worship to the divine. Perfection, correctness, thoroughness, excellence. You don't offer rotten foods to God. So how can you be slipshod with God? How can you be dirty with God? Give of your very best in performing your duties. I don't want to do anything else. Nothing ritual. This is the ritual, that I give of my very best, my heart and soul, in performing my duties, and that is a flower that I offer to my God. You are converting karma bhoga into karma yoga. This is the secret that Sri Krishna has shared with us in the 3rd chapter. When Arjuna asks him, "Sir, I'm confused. What do I do?" He says, "Convert your life into an endless performance of karma yoga. Be a karma yogi. Whatever your duty may be, you are a kshatriya, you are a defender of righteousness, faith, equity, justice. Pay whatever price you have to pay, but do it perfectly, correctly, thoroughly, excellently, and offer it to God. Your duty, which is a cause of bondage today, because you have not educated yourself, that duty becomes a means to liberation. That which is a cause of bondage becomes a cause of liberation. That is karma yoga for you. Now, as I told you, there has to be an intellectual conviction. What is that intellectual conviction? God is everywhere. He is in me. But somehow or other, I have no knowledge about Him. I must know Him. And I develop a rock solid, granite solid, intellectual conviction. How could that intellectual conviction be built? Sri Krishna openly declares, "I am God incarnate." Arjuna asks him, "Who gives you this authority to speak as if you know everything? You are my cousin brother. That's how I know you. You may be a few years elder to me, but that does not give you all that authority that you are talking of, about Adhyatma Vidya and so on and so forth." So Krishna, poor man, had no other go but to disclose who he is. Ajo nittam abhayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san maya samayaya avashtambhya srishtami atmamayaya. I create myself for the betterment of my children who have gone astray. This is my authority. In the 4th chapter, Sri Krishna established himself as an avatara, incarnation of the divine. That is how the 4th chapter concludes, where he says that please don't be a dullard, don't be a dumb fool. Make use of your brains. The best faculty that the most evolved biological creature has. Faculties of rationality, emotionality, ingenuity, and utilitarian value. Make use of these faculties and be free. So we come to the 5th chapter. Arjuna's question still remains. And now you will understand what does this question means. Arjuna says, the first shloka of the 5th chapter, and we start our 5th chapter. Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punarjogam cha samsasi Jashriya etayorekam tanme bruhi shunishchitam. He says, look, Krishna, in one breath you say, I should be a yogi, a karma yogi. In the next breath, you say you have to become a sannyasi. Now, please understand the meaning of the word sannyasa. Etymologically, let me break it for you. Samyak nyasa sannyasa. Samyak means in totality, without the slightest trace left behind. In totality. Nyasa is a rejection. In totality, rejection is sannyasa. He doesn't say rejection of what. In the 5th chapter, he will tell you rejection of what. And as I told you, with all sorts of bull-headed ideas, to leave performing his duties of life, he becomes a parasite on the society and he says, I have left everything, I am a sannyasi. But he plays all sorts of tricks to make money, to earn name and fame, and all that goes along it. That is what happens. So Sri Krishna here would say, what really you have to totally reject from your mind to reach that goal with the help of karma, jnana yoga first, intellectual conviction, karma yoga second, performance-wise, and your ingenuity leads you to your fourth goal, that is realization of your true original nature. So Arjuna has asked a very pertinent question. Sir, in one breath, you are praising sky-high karma yoga. Perform your duties in a particular manner. And on the other hand, you are saying karma sannyasa. Where do I go from here? You have put me in a road junction where one goes to the right, one goes to the left, and you don't tell me which one to go to. It's a very, very rational, reasonable question. Please tell me which is the better of the two, so that I don't waste my energy anymore. I take that path which is better for me. Sri Krishna was. Sri Krishna now replies. Sri Bhagavad was. Sannyasa karma yogasya nishreyasha kara ubhau tayostu karma sannyasat karma yoga vishishyate. Please, if you kindly keep my request, have a small little book of the Bhagavad Gita with yourself, so that you can follow the shlokas and listen to its interpretation. That will make me feel very comfortable that you are following it word to word. Sri Bhagavad Uvacha, answering to this pertinent question, Sri Krishna says, Sannyasa karmanam, sannyasa karma yogasya. Sannyasa and karma yoga. Nishreyasha kara ubhau. Both of them lead to realization. Nishreyasha kara. There's nothing supreme beyond it. Nishreyasha means there's nothing supreme behind it. both of them will lead you to that goal. Tayostu, if you, Arjuna, want to have my considered opinion, then please remember, between the two, I would prefer Karma Yoga. Tayostu, in between the two roads, left and right, between the two, Karma Sannyasat, compared to Karma Sannyasa, not performing your duties, running away to the hills and forests that Arjuna suggested. Well, and no, that's not the way. Karma Yoga Vishishyate. Vishishyate means excels over the others. Karma Yoga is the most excellent way of leading to that goal, which is the supreme knowledge, Nisrayash. Atyantik dukkha nivritti parama sukha prapti. This is how Sri Krishna starts the 5th chapter. Then let me introduce the 3rd shloka. And it is a very, very important shloka, 3rd to the 4th. These 3 shlokas, it will take time to develop. But let me read the 3rd as an introduction to next week's. And I'm not going to repeat anymore. I'll straight away start the text the next week. Gyasa Nitya Sannyasi. Know him to be a real sannyasi, always practicing it, Nitya. No part-time workmanship, no working from home at your leisure. It is a wholehearted, total, dedicative methodology. Gyasa, know him to be Nitya Sannyasi. Jo, he who, na dveshti, na kamshati. He seeks not, he rejects not. He lives in this world, but he seeks not, he has no desire from this world, and the world is a place of Maya, aghatana ghatiyashi paya patiyashi Maya. Whatever comes, he doesn't bother. He is ever established in the awareness of presence of God within himself and in the whole world. That is Nitya Sannyasi. Know him to be that sannyasi, not karma sannyasa. Not only, I refuse to perform his duties. That is escapism, that is defeatism, and that is what Arjuna wanted to follow. Sri Krishna is trying to correct his attitude. So we can say this study is meant to attitudinal correction. The attitude with which we live in this world, we correct it and reach the desired goal. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you. Mother, my Holy Mother willing, we'll meet again next Sunday. Thank you.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.